wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. Feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna sacred ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And hello and welcome to the WolfMan's call this special day of Wednesday, July 19th. I got a great lineup for you. Starting out with a former Mountaineer who's had nothing but success. And what a show we had yesterday as well. With Freddie Boone Smalls, Ruthie Napoleon, Christy Khan, and myself talking about the brotherhood. And of course, our guest today, Shawn Lutz, is part of the brotherhood. And you can see at Penn State, are you ready, Mountaineers? Are you ready to travel to Happy Valley? Is the team ready? Are they taking it with a sense of emergency, man? Because that's what it's really all about. And I'm so excited to go ahead and tell you that the team, I'm feeling it. Are they tough? Are they ready? Well, we've been talking to the alumni, and we've been trying to get everybody that we know get ready to fire up and understanding what it takes to go to Happy Valley and to win and be competitive. Before we start that out, of course, we have to start out right here with our WolfMan's Call Network. Ooh, look at this. Oh, Lutzy, I know you can see us backstage, man. We're going to start out with Brickside Bar and Grill with Rob Davis. Yes, eat local down there in Bridgeport. If you're in Fairmont, got to go to the Mason Jar BBQ and More with, we got Steve there, Reese, and unbutton those britches. Boy, I love saying that. And let's head up to Morgantown. You got the Mountaineer Tap House with Mel there. And boy, you got to love it. All the drafts they have right there. And of course, the Mason Jar Saloon and Hotspot, Steve Reese again. You know the barbecue is good. And of course, we have at Legends Sports Bar and Grill. Man, I'll tell you what, Gizzy out there is killing it, man. At Legends Lakeview out there. Go golf, man. Go golf. And then we go down to Teays Valley. We got the Pallet Bar. Wow, 24 craft beers. Tip. Audrey, man. Tip. All of them. Haley, all giving all great tips. And of course, Route 22, Weirton, West Virginia. Bottoms up draft system and 12 50-inch screen TVs. Woo! Man, I'll tell you, that's a lot all in a whole lot of breath and a whole lot of sucking it in. And I'll tell you what, there's some guy here that's going to tell me, like, Wolf, you got to get back going because you used to be tough. And that, of course, is head coach Shawn Lutz of Slippery Rock University. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Coach? I call you Coach, because you were a coach when I played, man. You were a great player. I know it's Wolf, man. You already got me fired up of all those eating places. And most importantly, talking about that big game WVU has, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to run through a wall for somebody, man. But it's really an honor and pleasure to be on this show. And, we have a relationship from back in the day. But I know you. I know it's Wolf, man. But I'm still calling you Coach Wolfley, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Now you can stop it because now it's It's totally, that's been passed, and you have surpassed. Before I get into all that, though, brother, you are a Mountaineer, or you first, before you became a head coach, and I want you to go ahead and to check this out here with this. And this is what we had yesterday. It was kind of neat, and I really want to put this up here so that they can all see it. And it's like this. If you can just read that, we'll just keep blowing it up, right? Yesterday's show, this is from Keith Hawkins. We call him Hawkeye. He said, yesterday's show was all about the team. Former players all expressed an urgent need to be more physical and foremost. The absolute must to play 4 quarters of football and give all one has. Coaches must teach fundamentals to many missed tackles, especially in the secondary. They must express team unity. They must develop the players that will be in the program long term. Head coach Neil Brown must teach the culture that has been in place for decades and put emphasis on returning hard-nosed physical football. The message must be we don't get intimidated. We are intimidators, Leslie, like you were back in the day. The opposition must remember the physical brand of football that's being played by this team. Wow, man, WVU may lose at the scoreboard, but it will take you 2 weeks to recover from the beatings you just took. This is the identity of Mountaineer football. We are going to out physical, out hit, and out hustle you for 4 quarters. We are going to beat the heck out of you, man. Players cannot control the game plan, coaching decisions, play calling, or when to take a timeout, but the player controls how he plays on the field. They must play smart, physical, and give maximum effort. They must lift each other up when they are challenged, lean on one another late in the 4th quarter. The last thing, man, by all, we got to have the brotherhood. Leslie, all I want you to do, man, is address what you know about the brotherhood of Mountaineer Nation and what it means to you today, this day. But what they just said right there, said yesterday, and what Hawkeye, Keith Hawkins, picked up from the show, what is it about the Mountaineer brotherhood?
I tell you what, it's I'm kind of speechless on it because it's hard to explain. I just remember, I mean, and you brought and that was well said. Some of that stuff. I mean, I was scared when I first got there. I mean, it taught me about the word I use all the time is relentless approach. That we had guys, that brotherhood that woke up every single day, man, and they were excited. They were passionate about life. And the biggest thing was these dudes were tough. And that's something I realized when I got into coaching here at Slippery Rock is you're going to have success if you hang around and you deal with people that are tough, that love the game, that's passionate about life. I mean, I'm just thinking of guys like Barry Hawkins, who coached at Millersville at one time in the college game.
Yeah.
Tom Briggs, Rich Bram, Tom Robsock. I mean, Jeff Nixon. I can go on and on, but the one thing that I could put together with that brotherhood is these guys had a lot of passion. They were just tough, blue collar guys that want to work every single day. I try to explain to our team all the time. I mean, our practices were seriously like a bloodbath. What I mean by that was we put the ball down and we got after it. I mean, we tackled, we hit, we had great coaching staff back then, but I realized I got a lot of my coaching philosophies. Coach Nealon's one of the best I've ever been around, our head coach, but really from the assistant coaches on the game is played to be physical. It's played to be tough. And I just remember, I wasn't the best player in the world. I was a role player there at WVU, but we built toughness because the way we had that relentless approach, the way we practiced, and we recruited that way, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I called today Relentless Wednesday in your honor because that is everything I've seen about you. It's relentless as a head coach. And speaking of head coach, we got to go ahead and get this up, man, and put this up so that we can see this. And it's just amazing. Okay, so basically you've been 28 years, okay, at Slippery Rock, 8 years as a head coach. And again, real quick, Leslie, where's Slippery Rock at? You can give a quick demo on that.
Yeah, we're located between Youngstown and Pittsburgh. So it takes us, we're basically north of Pittsburgh right there. It takes about, and then we're right close to Youngstown. So we're kind of middle between Youngstown and Pittsburgh. If anybody ever heard of the Grove City outlet malls where a lot of people doing shopping, that's kind of where we're located.
Absolutely. And let's go ahead. So 28 years, 8 years as the head coach. Let's go. Let's just name this man. I gotta find my spot, man. You've guided the program to 4 PSAC West titles. That's your division. 4 trips to the NCAA Division II playoffs, which has been unheard of, and an overall record of 58-17, the best in the PSAC over that stretch. You're also 2-time PSC West Coach of the Year and named the 2019 Don Hanson Football Gazette Division II National Coach of the Year. You led the Rock to the NCAA Division II semifinals, posting the best record in program history at 13-1. You can go ahead, you can look all the way down there. Lutzy, my gosh, when I was coaching you, man, I had no idea you're going to be so much better than me.
Oh, no, man. I never thought I'd be this path. I mean, I'm just a product of great people that I've learned a lot from. And our goal here is to develop these young men on and off the field. But I'm going to tell you something, man. We like to compete. And one thing with competing is having a lot of fun. And our goal is win a national championship. We were one game away is win a national championship, be on ESPN. So we're not there yet. But I've had great staff, great players. People don't realize how hard it is to play college football. I mean, I even tell people Division III football is good. And with the transfer portal right now, it's even tougher. I mean, because high school kids aren't getting recruited as much. And again, I'm just grateful to do what I'm doing. I love being a head coach. And, you know, it's just a credit and product of great players that I've had and great coaching staff.
Yeah, okay. So my whole thing that I wanted to promote today, not only was that you are relentless in all of your pursuits, okay, whether that's your coaching career, whether it's your home life, I know you, man. That's the way you played. That's the way you're grown up. That's your philosophy. Let's start out. You come to Slippery Rock 28 years ago. Tell me how you got started in that and how you've stayed in the one place at one time. You like green, right? You like the color green.
I don't know, but that's a great question. I thought I had an opportunity, to be honest with you, when I graduated to have an opportunity. Maybe I did talk to Coach Neal, and I had an opportunity to maybe go back after the following semester and have a chance maybe be a graduate assistant. Well, that didn't work. There was a guy on staff at Slippery Rock named Joe Kopniski. He's in the WVU's Hall of Fame. He played with Sam Huff during that era. He was the defensive coordinator at WVU. So he reached out and see if they want to get in coaching. They mentioned my name. I went there, met Coach Mahalik, who got his doctorate degree from WVU. So he was actually a teacher and a coach. And our stadium's named Mahalik. That's his last name, Thompson Stadium. But I was grateful to get an opportunity to be a GA there, get my master's degree. And really, I just worked from the ground up. I just worked my butt off. I was on the offensive side of the ball at first with the tight ends and tackles. And then I moved over and replaced a legend who was at one time, you know, this name, Keith Willis, who was our D-line coach at Slippery Rock at one time, was a great Pittsburgh Steeler guy, coached in the NFL. And he taught me some things on the D-line. Then from there became a DC, associate head coach, recruiting coordinator. And, yeah, I had an opportunity when Coach Mahal retired to be the head coach there. I had a goal. It's like everybody wants to do different things. I have 3 children, and my big thing was to see my family grow, be present in their life at their sporting events. This level kind of gave me an opportunity. I do get a little pissed off when people say it's not pressure packed. It is. You get fired for not winning games here, but it was a great program. I really took over, and just honored to be the head coach here, going on my 8th year. And it's something we want to continue to get better, and who knows what the future holds.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier, you're excited about this team coming up. So and that just starts in a couple of days, right? A couple of weeks, whatever. The football, you can start feeling it towards the end of July. You just got off vacation, you know what I mean? It's time to work yourself back up into the groove, get the blood going, a little bit of sweat, you know what I mean? A little bit of snot flowing, all that stuff. It's camp time.
It's awesome. I can't wait. If you don't, in this profession, if you don't wake up every day and be excited about what you do for a living, you need to get out. You need to get out. This profession is a grind. But my staff, I used to be the youngest guy on staff. Now I'm the oldest guy. You know, I'm going to be 50 here July 26th. I don't want no birthday wishes. I'm getting old. But these young guys on our staff energize me. But most importantly, when you're around young people, you know this, you do this for a living, being around all these young people, it just gets you going. But if you don't wake up every day and you're not excited about being a coach, you need to get out. I am fired up every single day. It's nonstop thinking about football. What ways I can do better, coach, and be successful, and try and always change it up and have a lot of fun. And it's all relationship driven, you know that, but you meet a lot of great people, what I do for a living.
Yeah, when I was a head coach at a junior college out there in Phoenix, I thought about it. And I really wanted to design my program after a lot of Division I. And people are like, why are you doing it after Division I West Virginia? Why are you doing it? Because I learned it from Don Nalen, and I coached under Don Nalen, and so that's what I learned. But the idea is it's really kind of the same thing. It's all relative. And when you think about it, coach to player or coach to coach relationships, it's the same thing. It's just relationships. It's relative to size. Maybe it's not Division I. Maybe it's not 80,000 seat stadiums, right? Maybe it's not all that money, but it's still the same. Football is the same when you get down to the fundamentals of the organization, of the fundamentals of the staffs.
Yeah, you can't say any better than you did. It is. Everybody uses the word culture. They use family. They use relationships. But it's how you empower your staff, your players to achieve the goals that you want them to achieve. You brought up Coach Neal, and the biggest impact that he had with me, I don't ever think there was a time where he wasn't so. I'd never been around, and this is a player. Again, I don't really know a lot then. I hope I know a little bit how that works. But did he ever have an off day? I'm sure he did, but he was always dressed sharp, a lot sharper than me. And his organization and how he prepared for every meeting he was about to give with the staff, with the team, was just unreal. I mean, and you didn't want to let that guy down because he was just so organized and prepared everything he did. And the biggest thing I get from him, he was so detail oriented, and you got to be like that, what you do, and especially if you're leading a football team. But yeah, in a nutshell, man, I was around a lot of good assistant coaches that was on the staff at that time. And one thing you brought up with, man, is this game is getting overlooked right now when it comes to line of scrimmage and up front and toughness. I just remember Kurlavich. I mean, who can get tougher than him? Mike Jacobs, Dave McMichaels. I go on and on. Dan Simmer was a good man, but those guys brought toughness. And that started with Coach kneeling down with our strength and conditioning and the guys we recruited. Like, you were an animal back in the day when you played, but how about the Mike Comptons and the Rich Bram? I played on freaking scout team. I had to go up against them every freaking day. But why I'm bringing this up is because I think the game now a little bit is like fast break basketball. The speed offenses, the tempo. To me, everybody's spreading guys out and trying to exploit mismatches. But at the end of the day, it's going back again. If you look at it, that you're going to win the game up front. You got to be physical, a little more smash mouth football. I think it's turning the other way around a little bit, in my opinion.
The wheel goes away and it comes on back. But every time the wheel, right? The wheel keeps turning and turning. Okay, so as we're turning this, and your resume of being and coaching in all these different places and part of the organization really has led you to be a head coach, understanding their roles, been through their roles, and almost emphasizing and expecting out of them. So let's go back now to the foundation. The whole idea, like I said today, was how do you build a top tier program? And you have. Okay, so what's the foundation?
Yeah, great question. So, I'll give you a quick stat just to help this. Since 2017, all of Division II, we have the fourth most wins in all of Division II in the country since 2017. It's really the biggest thing is you can't say, okay, we're going to win a national championship. Yeah, that's the immediate goal, or a conference. You got to have values. You got to have program values in your program. First of all, you got to hire a great staff, okay, that envisions the values you have in the program. So you got to have a catchword, in my opinion. The catchword, we're going to recruit, we're going to embody our program around people that have that relentless approach. And basically what relentless means is it's waking up every day being excited about something. Okay. We don't want to have to talk guys into going to class, going to practice. Do we have to do this today? And it's demanding more out of yourself each and every single day. So we're going to embody that word relentless approach. And then we have 4 program values. And this is what we hang our hat on. It's not always about winning this game, winning that game. We feel if we achieve our program values, okay, and we hang our hat on those, that will sell the program for our success. And that is conviction. They got to believe in what we're doing. Okay. You got to like what you see in the mirror for yourself individually. We got to recruit that way. They got to have conviction. They got to have confidence. They got to believe in what you're doing. Number 2, you got to have guys that are sacrificing. They got to sacrifice for the betterment of the football team. We talk about sacrifice all the time, the things you do, sleep, eating, all that stuff. Number 3, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have no discipline, okay, and your best teams are teams that police it in-house, but you got to have discipline. And my 4th favorite thing, and you'll like this, is we talk about unbreakable. That is being mentally and physically tough. We want guys who are mentally and physically tough. We're going to recruit that way. We're going to do that in the weight room, and it's the way we practice. You know, some people are scared this day and age, you know, in the spring and in camp to hit people. We do it. You know, again, to me, I don't think you can do it your first football game where all of a sudden you say, hey, we're going to tackle this guy live in the first situation against Penn State, and never had the opportunity to do this. Yes, you can get your best players hurt, but if you really say you want to be a physically, mentally tough football team, you got to practice that way, man. You got to die on the practice field. It's got to be high tempo. It's got to be physical, and it's got to be excitement. There got to be music playing. And that's the last thing, too. Try to have a little fun. We try to tell guys, like, why'd you start playing this game? It's because of the love of the game. You should still be able to have fun. I don't care what level you're at. If you're not having fun and you're not passionate, then why play the game? So sorry to go too long on that, but that we hang our hat on our program values.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think it's important because what my whole thing I've been talking about since I started this show a few weeks or a month and then 2 months. Time's rolling by, let's see. But you know what? You got to be blue collar, especially at West Virginia, and especially where you want to have success. And a place like Slippery Rock, to me, is a place where, yeah, you know, when you go there, you're going to be tough. You can't be the 4th winningest program since 2017 and not be tough and not know how to tackle and not know how to block. Fundamentals. And again, I totally love it. I've been preaching that, so you fit exactly in the way I hoped you would. Okay, just so you know, you're going along with the program and you didn't even know it. Okay, so
Wolfman, it's not hard though. I mean, people think it's so hard. It is still fundamentals of blocking, tackling, and a lot of those things. I mean, you got to work that stuff, but you got to do it live, man. And again, I just remember you guys paved the way, man. In the '88, you know, you set the tone, and then we killed it in the '90s to really spearhead the program. But I just feel like we have some tough dudes, man, and you got to recruit that way as well. Yeah,
you got to, and you got to learn it as well, and you got to have leaders to show you that, and that's a part of it too as well. All right, so Leslie, let's get back to Slippery Rock. Now, when you're looking at recruiting players, obviously you want tough players. Well, what's your skill sets? What are you looking at for that when you look down a team and offensive line, wide receiver, DBs, linebackers? What's your first thing you're checking out?
Yeah, besides the toughness and that, I want to know the biggest thing is I want to know, do they compete? And not just on football. I like multi-sport athletes. I like seeing a big guy, okay, no lineman, D-line, either wrestle or play basketball. And if he does play basketball, for example, I want to see, because there's a helmet in football. You know, it's hard to see stuff and like that. But I want to go to the basketball game and see how he competes without a helmet on. I want to see multi-sport athletes, okay, that are not afraid to compete. And they got to have the intangibles you're looking for. You know, the bottom line at the end of the day is you could be as big, as strong as you want, okay, at any position. But if you can't get to point A to point B, it don't matter. So everybody wants the same thing. Yeah, we want the 6'5", 315 offensive line, 6'5", 315 pound offensive lineman that can run and do all those things. but I'll take size and take quickness or speed over size. I really will, because the bottom line is you got to be able to move. And I think that's all positions. So we're going to look at guys that play multi-sports, that are athletic, that have quickness and love to compete, and kind of go from there.
It's really been going back there because I've had Coach Johnson on there in a weekly series. The guy who busted your chops, right?
Oh.
Get you together, and he's been talking. We've been talking about playing multi-sports because each sport builds kind of a different muscle, a different thing in your thing. It builds and it strengthens different parts of your body, but you maybe not just doing a weight room training for football all the time. I mean, those multi-sports really add, and it also puts you in more competitive situations where you have poise and judgment and all those good things.
Yeah, and listen, and recruiting's no science, okay? It is seriously, it's about building relationship, but you got to investigate all this. And I really want to know, is he a captain of the team? Is he a leader? Does he have those leadership skills? And again, it depends on what position you're getting. If you're getting quarterback, let's just face it, I don't care what level. You're only going to go as far as your quarterback takes you. I'm a big believer. I was a defensive coordinator, but if you want to have a special program, it's going to have to be quarterback driven. And so the investigation for the quarterback is lengthy. He better be a captain. You're going to look at his touchdown interception ratio. You're going to look at, does he play other sports? Is he a captain? You're going to talk to the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator. You got to investigate all that stuff because you cannot be wrong, especially at that position.
No, there's no doubt about it. So for you, it really is, though, about mentally tough and competitiveness and adding in those flares of what makes them special as an athlete. Let's just say that, right?
Yep. That's right. I just
sum it up for you, brother.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the bottom line is you can look pretty, and let's just look at this. Well, everybody, all they do is hang their hat on these sexy looking highlight tapes that play this good music, and anybody could put 15, 20 clips on a highlight tape and make it look good. You got to investigate a little bit more. Watch a full game on a guy or something like that, because anybody can put that together. I think there's just got to be a more thorough investigation sometimes in recruiting.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. But I always do, as the head coach, I already had the answer. Okay, whenever some big dude or some powerful dude, no matter what position, but let's just take an offensive lineman. When he would come in, I'd be like, oh my goodness, okay. This sometimes, in junior college, you get a guy off the street or who hasn't played in a couple of years, right? So I'm like, oh, he looks big. Yeah, all right, cool. First test. I want you to go get a helmet, and then you choose your face mask. And more than not, I'd get these offensive linemen. They'd choose the running back's face mask. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's a wash.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Yep. Or the best thing is, you say that, does he pass not even the eye test? When when a kid comes on campus, he's on an interview right away. If he doesn't look at you in the eyes, look confidence, how he shakes your hand, like it's soft handshake, and he doesn't really look in you. I want a guy that's going to squeeze my freaking hand off. And this is a question. Everybody's going to think this is kind of stupid. I ask every guy when they come in my office and I'm about ready to offer them a scholarship, do you love the game of football? They look at me like I'm crazy. And you would be seriously surprised what some of them say. If they look at you like, yeah, I want to get a scholarship, I want to pay. I want guys to say, I love the game. I could not live without it. I love it. I wake up every day. But I ask that question because you'll get a lot of information being sold, how they answer that question, and just the eye test and just the handshake and things like that. We're looking at all aspects.
Oh, that's so cool, man. All right, so let's just go back and say, when you started off as a coach, did you feel like you were in a great coaching spot, or did you really have to go ahead and put your values and your touch on it and to become this successful?
Yeah, well, first of all, I learned from a great guy. Coach Mahalik has been here a long time. He was a professor and a coach. But this is my best advice. I learned a lot from him. But my first year as a head coach, I think my worst year, probably we were 7-4. And I try to be him and not myself. Like I learned things from him, a lot of things, but I can't be him. I had to be who I was. So it was a little bit of learning curve for me. And I said, hey, the way I go out now, I got to be who I am. And that's the biggest advice I like to give people that work for somebody. Yeah, you're going to learn some things, but it's got to be your way, your culture, the way you perceive things. It was a lot different than the way Coach Mahalik did it. Like, for example, he was strict on a lot of things like your dress attire, what you looked on game day. That didn't bother me as much. I just want to make sure that guys are going to class, and I didn't care if they had an earring in and stuff like that, because I didn't get caught up. I worried about the things that I thought were really important, not disagreeing with him. I had to be who I wanted to be is the best advice I can give.
Oh, I think that's great advice. So for anyone that wants to come and check out Slippery Rock, where do you go? What's the website there for football?
Yeah, it's really easy. Just go www.sru.edu, go under athletics and football, man. And you know this being from the state, living in the state of West Virginia, they got a good conference over there. Shepherd had a great quarterback that won the Heisman. And there's players getting drafted. This day and age now with social media, if you're good enough, they're going to find you. And really proud of some of the coaches that have been a part of this program the last 10 years. We got Rob Keys, who's a WVU guy that played there, now special teams analyst at Ohio State University. He was on our staff at one time. Al Washington is now the D-line coach at Notre Dame that was on our staff at one time. And 9 years ago, our OC is now the offensive coordinator of Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. So we've had when you win, good things happen to people, and they advance from here as well.
And you've been winning. And I think you've really established quite a program, quite a name. And you come from WVU, and there's only so many head football coaches now from WVU, and you're one of them, and you're doing such great things, man. So, Lutzy, thanks for coming on to the Wolfman's Call. Dude, I wish you the best. I follow you all the time. You're a brother. Not only that, you're a Mountaineer brother, but you're a brother, man. Brother. And I just want you to know, I wish you the best. Go get him, dog.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it. I just want to say this. People are fortunate what you do for the state, number one, for the football program, for the university, your passion. People are blue collar in the state of West Virginia. It's Mountaineer Nation everywhere, but you have you're passionate what you do. That word relentless fits you, man. You show the excitement, and life's too short not to be excited about life in general. And WVU and the football, there's no better place. So I really appreciate what you bring to the table, and thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to see you. Hey, you going to be at Steelers camp?
Yeah, I'll be down there. Yep.
Okay. Maybe I'll see you down there. Say hello to my brother. Take care, man.
Thanks a lot, Wolf. Take care. We'll see you guys.
All right, brother. Go be relentless, Shawn Lutz. I'm telling you what, a cat, man. He coaches that team. That is tough. If you're going in Division II and you want to know who's a great Division II coach and staff, right there. He follows in exactly what we've been talking about, exactly what we were talking about yesterday with our brothers. We had Freddie Boom Smalls. We had, of course, Eugene Napoleon and Chris Pecan, all from little different areas. And it's the same thing. It's what you have to be. You have to practice hard. You have to work hard. You have to be hard to be good. And with that going on here, let me just first, I got a couple of things to take care of here. And I want to get this out because I always forget about my QR codes because I get so involved in everything. And that one is Power Mini rechargers and batteries. Man, if you go green, you save green. I'm talking about moolah now. All right, Power Mini right there. Scan that code, baby, because listen, I don't buy new AA batteries. I don't buy them. And they're not expensive to buy them in the first place. But I go ahead, my kids, they all play those games, right? And they're on those remotes and everything. You just recharge the batteries, and you got the charging system. It's incredible. So we do that, and then I go to right here, AGC, man, Artisan Grange Company. Switch the dip, just the hemp, man, just the dip, right? AGC, get rid of that tobacco, get rid of that nicotine. You go kiss your special someone, man. You don't want that crap in your mouth. Go ahead, scan it right there. Also, you can get it at Parmar Stores, our sponsor, right? Our sponsor, Parmar Stores, and it's really special. Artisan Grange Company, and of course, that is by two Mountaineers. You got Johnny Cahigas, Meg Cahigas. Okay, they're married. I get the idea, the last two names, right? But they are amazing Mountaineers, and they help out so much. And right here, West Virginia United. And that's Johnny Cantwell. And it's about us being united, us coming together. We're going to have to do that, man. That's what this is all about. So go ahead, get your scan, man. West Virginia United, they're going to have socks and shirts and all that good stuff. And we're doing everything right here. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead, and that's not a QR scan right here, but this is a commercial by Abby Pearson for Parmar Stores. We're at the bottom of the hour. Got to get better at doing this as well. But go ahead, Abby, gym this for WVU.
Hi, I'm Abby Pearson from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
How about that? Parmar, what are they doing, man? NIL, name, image, likeness, getting it done, keeping our athletes competitive and the university athletics competitive. So good job by that. All right. So without much fanfare, I'm going to go ahead. This is something we just added to the program, and I'm seeing the chat boards coming up and missing out here, some things here. All right, guys, I'll get to you in a little bit. But what I really wanted to get at was yesterday was Freddie Boom Smalls, Eugene, all of them, right? Chris Pecan, the brothers, the band of brothers. Well, we had a band of brothers before that, and I imagine there's a band of brothers before that at WVU, and of course that is. So let's go ahead and bring in Mickey Plumley. Mickey, how you doing, buddy? Oh, Mickey, I can't hear your voice, buddy. Go ahead, Mick. Can't hear you, Mick. Let's bring on Frank Fear. Go ahead, Frank. What's going on, buddy?
I'm doing great, Wolf. Good to see you again.
Yep, absolutely good to see you here, Mickey. I'm not sure what's going on with his volume. Mick, can you hear me now?
Nope. You got to put your volume up, Mick.
Go ahead, Mick. Put your volume up. We got a band of brothers. We're here to help you out, man. All right. Well, we're going to wait and see what happens, Frank. But let's talk about that yesterday, how much reaction time we've had. Did you see what I wrote or Keith wrote that I put up there? Did you see that?
I did. I did. It was a great show, Wolf.
Yeah.
And Keith's comments are right on target. I think, I was thinking about this in relationship to the kind of information we usually get. There's so much emphasis on branding and marketing and all this stuff. What you guys were talking about yesterday, what Coach Lutz was talking about today, and that's one of the reasons I wanted Mickey to come on. What's really important is the game itself, and the game itself is not just about winning and losing, even though that's obviously very important. That came out very loudly yesterday, but the influence that these coaches have on the players, and then what they take from what they've learned and how they've been influenced to the next generation. That was one of the things that came through to me yesterday, and it came through again today with Coach Lutz. And certainly in writing the book, when I talked with the guys that played under Jim Carlin and Bobby Bowden, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And it's not just the band of brothers. It includes that, obviously, very importantly. But you look how these guys are influenced and live their lives and what they do with their lives. It fits perfectly with what the higher education mission is. And if you can't get revved up after listening to those guys yesterday and Coach Lutz today, something's wrong with you.
It really is special. And it's everything I've been talking about this whole time. And it's not that I'm going ahead. We were talking about this here. I'm critiquing the Mountaineers. When I tell you to get ready for Penn State, it's because I want to see you succeed. I want to see you be able to compete with these guys and do. But you have so many young guys or guys that aren't Mountaineers or haven't been, because none of them have been to Happy Valley. They don't know. I know what it's like to go to Happy Valley and play. It is the hardest place I ever played at. I played at Ohio State. I played or coached at Auburn. There's things that are stadiums that are just that hard. Happy Valley, Penn State is it for me. because you can't even hear. I mean, it's just amazing. All right, so again, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to see if Mickey's ready to roll here. And go ahead. Mick, talk to me.
Whoa. Still not coming up?
Yeah, I don't know if it's your volume or if it's your mic, Mickey. But anyways, sorry, brother. Again, it's about the Band of Brothers. I had the sports column up. Tell me about the sports column real quick. So we get you, because you got free articles going up all the time.
Yeah, well, thank you for the plug. I really appreciate it. As I've mentioned on this show before, it has a unique mission. When we're on Facebook, we're commenting, or we're online generally, and we're reading sports articles, we comment as fans. Mm-hmm. Sports column flips that. The fans have a chance to write articles, and we're open access. They come in, I edit them. Our staff edits them. We make sure that we add photos, often videos, and then we put them up. So the thing I like about it most is that it makes it possible for everyday fans to have a strong voice on whatever the issue is. We don't make assignments. So whatever people want to talk about, they write and it comes in, and then we publish it. They get a byline too from it. So it's a win-win situation. And since I've been managing editor, I'm over 3,000 articles now, getting close to 4,000 articles. And so they come in from all over the world every single day, and we're pleased. And, thanks to you, I'm doing a series myself. We did Central Florida, the newcomers into the Big 12. Started with Central Florida. We did. We then went to Houston this week, and on Monday we'll then switch to Cincinnati, and the following week we'll end up with Brigham Young. And I'm learning a lot about these schools and their programs as I'm doing this. It gives me a much better understanding, and I hope people who read the articles will get a better understanding of these newcomers, because for the most part, WVU has played Cincinnati a lot over the years, but there are other programs we haven't played all that much. Central Florida is a good example. I'm not sure we've ever played Central Florida. Anyway, so thanks for the opportunity to talk about the sports column, and anybody could submit. All you have to do is just Google the sports column, and you'll see there's a submission portal, and then we'll take it from there.
That's all.
Hey,
Wolf, Mickey, this is your last.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead. Talk, Mick. Talk to me.
Can you hear me now?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
Go ahead. Continue.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me on. I switched over to my cell phone here and off my computer. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk about the original Band of Brothers. Thanks again to Frank so much
you
for
the
writing the
original
book
Band of
about it.
Brothers? Because I got a feeling that the 30s and 40s had some Band of Brothers too.
Well, have you heard from any of them yet?
Not recently.
Hey, Wolf, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on. Frank said you wanted to talk about the culture of football at WVU. Is that basically the subject topic here today?
I hope you're prepared for it.
I am, because let me tell you, I'm going to sum it up for you in one phrase. How it was explained to me the first day on the practice field. Son, you played a game with total abandonment and utter disregard for personal safety. Okay? So that is the culture. Now, let me just set a little backdrop here for Wolf, because I want to talk a little bit about the counterculture that we played within back in the 1960s. And a lot of your viewers, as young as they are, may not be aware of some of these things. But going into Morgantown, 1966 through 1970, there was so much turmoil and so much unrest going on in the world. The Vietnam War was going on.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King had been assassinated. Robert Kennedy had been assassinated. John F. Kennedy had been assassinated. We had Woodstock, 500,000 people listening to music on a farm up in upstate New York. And you had people with fires in their hair going to San Francisco in a VW bus. So the world was a lot different back then than it was in today's times. I mean, there's a lot of social unrest today, but it was totally different back then. So coming into Morgantown, West Virginia, from a variety of different walks of life, Wolf, I think paramount in the coach's mind was we need to get all of this counterculture out of these guys' minds and get them concentrated on one thing, and that's playing winning football here at WVU. So, jokingly, I say that, the first thing I heard was utter total abandonment, utter disregard for safety. That is how you do have to play the game. But the biggest thing that impressed me in the beginning, and Bob Zitelli said this earlier on one of your broadcasts, I believe, or it's in Frank's book, that when Bobby Bowden went to his house to recruit him, when he talked to his mom and his dad, he told them, he said, I cannot guarantee that Bob will play a down for me at WVU, but I can guarantee you that he will get an education. So I'm going to say the culture for the 60s Band of Brothers was one of the first eras of true student athletes playing the game, but also being recognized on campus, not only as a jock, but, as a student. The coaching staff was dedicated to us getting an education. They were dedicated to building a winning football team. And some of the ways that we exemplified that, going back, on campus, the way that people would view us. Wolf, you may not believe this, but we were required to wear our shirt tails in our pants all the time. If you were caught walking around campus without your shirt tail hanging out, you were running the stadium steps the next morning. Coach Carlin had feelers out throughout the entire faculty. If you cut more than 3 classes and he got word of it, you were going down to the old stadium 5:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning and run the stadium steps until you threw up. And let me tell you, there was an assistant coach assigned to be down there with you, and he wasn't too happy about the fact that he had to get out of his warm bed at 5:30 in the morning and go down there and be with you while you ran those stadium steps. So,
all right. Hang on a second. Let me plug Frank's book here. All right.
Yeah.
Your book as well, because there's 21 of you contributors. Band of Brothers. There, I don't know. Can you see all that right there? Then and now, the 66 through 70 guys dealing with players through the Jim Carlin coaching era and the Bobby Bowden era right there in your group. And that's what it is. And there's your football, Mick. That's excellent. And you can get it at the sports column. What do you do? Just Google the sports column. It's the sportscol.com.
Yep, you'll see it on the front page there, and then you can order. There are links there once you get into the article, all kinds of places around the world. The thing I would say about what Mickey just said, and that's why I'm glad you're inviting him to be here, is that he's talking West Virginia football. It's West Virginia football in the 60s, middle 60s to 1970, but it's the same football you were talking about yesterday with the panel, and the same thing with Coach Lutz today. And, it's what makes football not only such a great game, but a great game that teaches you lessons for life and the relationships and the way in which you conduct yourself for life. And we sometimes forget that. We focus on media contracts, talk about how many people are watching games, ticket sales. Those are all important, but none of that would exist if it weren't for the game. And at its basis, having discipline, learning discipline, being disciplined, and being part of something that's bigger than self. Sounds, trite, but it's true.
Well, that is the truth. And when you hear, hang on there, Mick, I know you're listening to Shawn Lutz. Every program coach that I've brought on the show, which I've brought a lot on already, I've already brought on a ton of successful people in coaching and the football game. They all talk the same thing. It's all the same thing. And when it's hard-nosed, and did you hear him? You gotta practice hard to play hard to be good hard. You know what I mean? It's like he says it's not rocket science. And what I saw from that was just really something cool that once again, just goes ahead and reinforces everything we've known. And it goes back to Mickey. You could talk about it, but it goes back to tucking in your shirt tails. Because, even in prime now, Deion Sanders not letting those boys hang out in the back of their shirts. He's bringing that old school back. But again, it's about, that's what's important, and discipline. It's about discipline, and it's discipline in your areas of life, and discipline on the field, discipline, because all these coaches believe that it's all one and the same. It's all one and the same.
Exactly.
Different areas. Am I right, Mick, or no?
You're exactly right, Wolf. Let me tell you, Bobby Bowden's philosophy was faith, family, and football. And you got to be disciplined in all three areas of your life. And the reason I held that football up there just briefly, that's a personally autographed football I've had for over 50 years that Coach Bowden was nice enough to sign for me when I graduated, Wolf. And I asked him, he said, well, what do you want me to write on here? I said, well, Coach Bowden, just write on there to the greatest offensive tackle I ever coached. And he said, Plumway, he said, I can't do that. I said, okay. I said, just put something on there that I can use the rest of my life. He said, okay. And he put to Mickey, keep your head up and keep your feet moving, regardless of the situation you find yourself in, Bobby Bowden. And let me tell you, that advice is what motivated me to play as hard as I could for the man, and motivated me to get through a lot of turmoil in my life, including helping me to survive cancer 7.5 years ago. The thought that man instilled in me, and that you keep your head up, you keep your feet moving, you'll find a way to survive. You'll find a way to succeed. Same thing on the football field. I'm sure 90% of WVU fans are not expecting WVU to hold their own against the Nittany Lions on that first Saturday in September. Well, let me tell you, that's why they play the game every Saturday. You think back to what Appalachian State did to Michigan 10, 12 years ago. You play the game for the glory, for the honor, for the pride, for the discipline of the game. And who knows what's going to happen on that Saturday. But I'll tell you this, I think Coach Brown will have every mindset tuned to, we're going to go in there and turn some heads and show people what Mountaineer Nation is truly all about. And you know what, Wolf? The great thing about that for me, win or lose, I'm still a Mountaineer fan, always will be till the day I die.
Well, that's the truth, and that's in all of us, Mick. But there is a legacy that you expect, and the legacy of them playing hard-nosed, playing smart, playing above a situation, playing above distractions. Again, we're going back to discipline now. And this Mountaineer team, as you talk about going into Nittany Lions, that's why I play that Penn State video every day. Because I don't want no distractions. I want them to be like, yeah. I want them to know that, listen, there are people that are saying bad things about us, but you know what? You're in their locker room. That's what we talked about yesterday. You're with your brothers, but you got to believe in your brothers. You got to have the right mentality. You have to have the right, Rich Rod used to call it, everybody pull on the rope together. It's the same thing. Whatever great thing you want to say, whatever you're saying is, it's being together, working as one, being on the same page. And that's what I'm trying to tell, and that's what I'm trying to critique and explain to all that are listening, because, again, I want them to succeed. I want Neil Brown to succeed, but he's got to succeed if he wants to stay here, and that's just the bottom line, and there's no doubt about it. If you're going to get paid that kind of money, you better win as a WVU Mountaineer. And in your fifth year, okay, again, being picked towards the bottom, okay, that's fine. We don't know where he's going to end up. So let's go. Let's find a way to go out there and compete because you believe. 1982, okay, that's before my era. That was my brother Ron's era. No one gave them a chance against Oklahoma. Nobody gave them a chance against Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
But they went
out.
When
he was quarterbacking.
Yeah, well, but there's also other guys in that team that were players, and it was something about a group together, and that group together hung in there and smashed those Sooners, and that's what really that scenario. Then you went back to the games like 75 beating Pitt. That was what, 8th back then. I mean, there's just, and you go back and back. You guys in the Peach Bowl in 70. I mean, it goes. That's what we're expecting. That's what we're talking about. That's what's expected of these young men.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to accept anything less from them because they're Mountaineers, because they wear that WV that you have on your visor, and it's French on your shirt, and it represents and we have a legacy right there.
Wolf, I got my
goes back and back.
I got my 69 Peach Bowl shirt on, Wolf.
Well, there you go. So that's what I'm talking about, is that there is an expectation for these young men. these young bloods of ours. There's that expectation. And that's what I'm talking about, because every rep has to be that rep, that I'm getting better than those opponents, not just Penn State, those Pitt opponents, those Texas Tech opponents, those Oklahoma State opponents. Every rep, I'm getting better, and we're doing that for 11 and 11 and 11, and the second team, 11 and 11 and 11, then the third team, 11 and 11 and 11. That's what I'm talking about. That's what Lutzy was talking about. That's what the boys yesterday were talking about, and that's what we're talking about right now.
You're exactly right, Wolf. You know, and it's more than just brute strength, too. It's playing smart. It's playing intelligent, as Coach Lutz was saying. You know, my offensive line coach, a guy by the name of Jack Fligg, he never really stressed the physical aspect of the game that much. I mean, that was your stakes to get in the game. You came with the physical attributes, okay? What Coach Fligg always – and on the offensive line – and we're going to have a great offensive line this year because they've played together now for 3 seasons. But you have to play smart just as much as you have to play forcefully in order for that unit to perform as a cog in the entire offensive machine that makes it turn, that makes the wheels turn. So you got to have the mental aspect of the game. You know, Coach Fligg used to always say, don't embarrass yourself mentally out there on the field, Plumlee, whatever you do. You know, he said, if you forget your blocking assignment, go hit somebody. Don't just stand there. So
that's the truth, Mickey. You know what the best thing you've done all your life? You've kept your head up and your feet moving. And that's exactly the good stuff. Frank Fear, I want to thank you, man. Author, historian. I appreciate you coming out. Hey, Mickey, thanks so much, man. I appreciate everything that you have given all the years I've known you. Sometimes you're a great supporter. You're a great alumni. Thank you so much, brother. Good to see you.
Hey, thank you. Hey, and thank you for all you do, Wolf.
Absolutely.
Keep it going, buddy.
Well, we'll have you back on soon. Take care now. All right.
You take care.
Good to see you, Frank. Thank you. All right, everybody. Boy, what a day. Shawn Lutz. My goodness. And then you got Mickey Plumlee right there, and Frank Fear, and the Band of Brothers, the book. And just so many things have been going, and they had the show yesterday. If you didn't watch the show yesterday, I really think you should. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to jump it up one more time. I think it's that important. By Keith. I know Keith, the Hawkeye there, is going to be happy, but let's put this up one more time. And I think, again, it's important enough to show it. It's important enough to read it. And it's important enough to believe in it. And that right here is this. Okay. Yesterday's show was all about the team. The former players all expressed an urgent need to be more physical and foremost, the absolute must to play 4 quarters of football and give all one has. Coaches must teach fundamentals. Too many missed tackles, especially in the secondary. We know that. We saw that in the Pitt game. Touchdowns in the Pitt game could have been changed. We saw in Texas Tech. We saw in Texas. We saw it all season. They must express team unity. They must develop the players that will be in the program long term. Head coach Neil Brown must teach a culture that has been in place where we just talked about all these years, go back, place for decades, and put emphasis on returning to hard-nosed physical football because we believe we haven't seen that I'm talking about everybody. We've had great players, don't get me wrong. The message must be we don't get intimidated. We are the intimidators. Well, I'll tell you what, I like that because, the opposition must remember the physical brand of football that is being played by this team. WVU may lose on the scoreboard, but it will take you 2 weeks to recover for the beating you just took. This is the identity of Mountaineer football. We're going to out physical, out hit, and out hustle you for 4 quarters. We're not going to give up. That's me, man. We are going to beat the heck out of you. Players cannot control the game plan, coaching decisions, play calling, or when to take a timeout, but the player controls how he plays on the field. They must play smart, physical, and give maximum effort. And remember this, what Pecan said yesterday. Players used to hold players accountable. Not coaches just to players, but players to players, like Ron Wolfley to Chris Pecan. They must lift each other up when they are challenged, lean on one another late in the 4th quarter. The last thing is the most important was expressed by all, brotherhood, and what it means. Yesterday, everyone showed their wavering support for the young players and the need for the coaching staff to go ahead and be better as they did and be a very positive way. It was excellent. Okay, it was excellent. And Keith, thank you so much. Hawkeye, I will tell you that. And again, I'm going to say all those things. You heard Shawn Lutz. It all clicked. It all clicked. It all clicked. And that's what these Mountaineer bloods, these young bloods of ours, it's all got to click all together, man. And that's what I'm talking about. I keep talking about Mountaineer brother. That's why I'm so jacked, so fired up. I could go back and talk to Mickey Plumlee from the 60s and get fired up about the game of football, because that's when he's talking the truth. He's talking about the power. He's talking about the pure, the game of football. Shawn Lutz, he was back in the 90s. Back there, same thing. Pure, power. Got to play hard. You got to be physical. Got all this right here. I go back to Freddie Boom Smalls beating Doug Flutie, 4-0 against Doug Flutie, who won the Heisman. All this right there. Never let Doug Flutie beat them in Boston College. That's what I'm talking about. You go back to the Rich right here. You go Pat White. All that. It doesn't matter. It's a band of brothers. You can go back. Oh, Schmitty. Come on, man. The Runaway Bear Truck. Yeah, he knows exactly what that's all about. And he can keep going back. Anthony Beck, Mark Bulger, Jeff Hostin. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's the Mountaineer culture. It's the Mountaineer legacy. That's what we're trying to say. We didn't win the national championship. We lost to Notre Dame. But doggone it, we played the game hard. We played the game physical, and we sure as heck weren't intimidated. And that's what I have to say about that. Thanks to my guest today. Tomorrow, we're going to have defensive coordinator, coach 35 years, Steve Dunlap. He actually recruited me to come to West Virginia. Got a great story about that in the Buffalo Blizzard. And he's up in Canada fishing right now, but he's going to join us live. Hopefully that technology is going to come through. And then next week, we got a whole big thing for you. We got former Marshall head coach Bob Pruitt on Monday. Tuesday, we got the Al Johnson back for development. He's in Vegas right now, hanging out, probably doing a little bit of chip pulling out there, spreading it around. And then on Wednesday, we have Dave Duck Riley and Sean Martin, his nephew. Sean Martin, the great defensive end right now for the Mountaineers. Him and his grandfather, Duck Riley, he played in the 70s. They all understand it, man. It's all through the Mountaineer legacy. And let's not forget this. What else do we got to not forget? On Thursday, the voice of Motown wants to come on the show. You heard it now. The first time I've announced it. The voice of Morgantown. Is it Motown, Morgantown? I don't know. I think his name is Brad Smith. I haven't ever met the guy before. I think we've all seen what he puts out there, and he wants to come and get on the show and tell us why he's doing what he's doing. This is the WolfMan's call. I'm going to let everybody come on this show that wants to. That's why I put out the link. If you want to come on, if you want to be respectful, if you want to do that, you want to be respectful, you want to come on and you can handle yourself, you can all come on. Even Brad Smith, the voice of Morgantown. So that's next Thursday. Again, great lineup next week. Great lineup tomorrow. Steve Dunlap, #1 defense in 1996, allowing like a total of 229 total yards throughout the season. This is coaching. I got Shawn Lutz right there. You have Coach of the Year, Division II. I mean, we're just giving you quality on the WolfMan's call. You got Mickey Plumlee, you got 60s, 70s, Freddie Boom, Pecan. It goes on and on and on and on, because we want you to understand, Mountaineer Nation, you got a voice, but you also got to learn the game too, right? All of us got to learn the game and understand the game. And I meant to go ahead and have a film breakdown today. I'm going to have to save it for tomorrow, because today was so cool. Today was so cool, so good with Shawn Lutz, a head coach of Slippery Rock University. And I'm going to tell you, watch that, because that man knows how to coach. And if you want to understand football, you listen to him and all the guests that we've had on the past couple of weeks of the show. The WolfMan's call. Woo! I'll tell you what, man, I'm sweating already. I'm geared up to go. I want to go ahead and thank our WolfMan's Call network. You got to start on Bridgeport. You have the Brickside Grill and Bar down there. That's Rob Davis, and it's Eat Local. And then, of course, you have up at Fairmont, you had the Mason Jar BBQ and More, Steve Reese. He's also got the Hot Spot and Saloon in Morgantown. That's Steve Reese I'm talking about. Great barbecue. And, of course, you got Aaron Gizzy there at Legends, Lakeview Legends Bar and Golf, Sports Bar and Golf. And then we got the Mountaineer Tap House with Mel. Make sure you take care of Mel. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. And go ahead down to Teays Valley, and then you got Haley, and you got Aubrey there. Tip them well. Any of the other servers, 24 different craft beers at the Pallet Bar. And then you go up to Weirton, West Virginia, which I can't wait to go. Route 22, they have 12 50-inch screen TVs together. Boy, I sure hope they're showing this right here. Right? What a view that would be on 12 50-inch TVs. My goodness. All this coming up on the WolfMan's Call next week. Gonna get a little warm in here, if you know what I mean. All right. Have a great day. The WolfMan's Call. See you tomorrow 4.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock. How many? The anywhere, anytime chargers, powering a connected world. Never buy AA batteries again. Rechargeable 500 times plus. Paul Mini AA USB lithium battery, as easy to charge as your cell phone. Sustainable energy. Stay charged. Go green, save green. Feel the power of Paul. Order now at paulmini.com.